It's a life built on sweat, on smarts, and faith. For more than 70 years, the Dickey family has been working their land and milking their Holstein cattle in Haldimand County. But on January 30th, 2013, Roger Dickey stopped dairy production, ending almost 4 generations of the family business, spilling fresh, whole milk onto the floor and down the drain.
I milked my last cow in July. It just got to the point where it was just too expensive. There was no way that it was going to ever calculate out that you could ever pay for it. So I made the decision to end that and move on to the next thing.
It is 9 months later, and pens that were home to newborn calves throughout the decades collect only cobwebs. The milking parlor, a curiosity for cows who have never been milked and soon will be sold. Dairy farming is a $9.8 billion industry, yet small farms like Rogers cannot stay in active operation. Bill Emmett is the board chair for the Dairy Farmers of Ontario and representative of Haldimand County.
The reason that farms are disappearing is because the next generation finds there's easier ways to make a living, I think, and we don't have the numbers that want to stay in the agricultural sector. If you're in the dairy industry, it's 7 days a week, twice a day at least. Christmas and New Year's, birthdays, doesn't matter. You're in the barn.
Wayne Roberts, food policy analyst.
When farmers are leaving and their kids don't want to take it over, they are telling us, and as much as a flashing red light can tell us, that it's the end of the road for this system. Then let's think of a more positive one, which will pay for itself because we'll get full value out of the countryside instead of just the food value that we're mining in essence now.
The average age of a farmer is 58. His nest egg was his milk quota, or milk production shares. He'd give his children the farm, sell them the quota, and retire. Buying quota outside a family is expensive and in high demand. Farms have expanded and closed while on waiting lists. The province has recently given $30 million to support new ways to sustain and expand the relationship between regional farms and their consumers.
We live by the history, but we can only move into the future. So we need to constantly rejuvenate ourselves, renew ourselves, and these changing of facilities and renewing of facilities is absolutely essential.
The problem with politicians is they think it can be solved by moving one side of the Rubik's Cube. And in particular, they think it's an agricultural problem.
Roger isn't giving up farming altogether. He'll continue and even expand his cash crops, soy, oats, hay, and the like. In the spring, he'll buy beef cattle and raise them as entirely grain-fed. He sees the increasing consumer demand and he won't have to renovate the barns very much. He's happy that his children will still grow up romping through the farm, fields, and forest as he did, but the legacy that he was born into will end with him.
And you drive around the countryside and see where the farms used to be, and all you see now is one field. It might be 100 acres, just one field of one crop. And to think back, 20 years ago even, a family actually sustained life on that farm. Like they produced a crop, that was their home, their living. And now it's just gone. Like it's pretty sad, really, when you think about it. But that's the way it's going. That's progress.
Is $30 million enough to recognize that dairy farming is not just about fine-tuning production of food, that it's about evolving our connection to the earth, to animal, to family, and to community? Tara Lindeman, Ryerson TV News.